All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is William Heinman, your host, and this is Just Force 911, where we look at how our public officials do their job or they completely and totally pooch screw it up. Um, this one here, I have tried to do 4 times now, and it just angers me to death. Um, I'm going to try to do it one more time. I will do my best. I apologize if it turns into a free for all. Um, this just really irks me to no end. First off, while you're here, if you would please subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the bell icon so you, you oh god, this just pisses me off. Oh, I am torqued as you can tell. Okay, bell icon so you know when I put out a new video. Like and share, please, so it helps my algorithms. Um, what else? Oh, the thumbs up, thumbs down, so you can tell me how I'm doing, and leave me a comment if you would, please. This one here comes from Audit the Audit. The it's two police officers that have to be the lowest scumbag, low life piece of excrement I have ever seen. And you guys have heard me say it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. And then crap like this comes up. Why would you abuse an old lady? Are you out of your frickin' mind? I don't even understand what kind of crap would go through a scumbag cop's mind that would treat an elderly person like this. I mean, these guys ought to be tarred and feathered, first off, before you do anything else. Stripped down, tarred, and feathered. That's starting. Okay? And then thrown in prison. A life sentence would be too short, in my opinion. As you can tell, I'm a little hot. You think? If this doesn't make your blood boil as an American citizen, then you are brain dead. Because this is absolutely ridiculous. You do not treat old folks like this. And if you do, then you're a scumbag. These sovereign citizen cops who have the think they have the right to do what they want to anybody, you should be tarred and feathered and thrown in prison. You do not have the right to manhandle, hurt, or take the life of someone else just because you're a cop. You are a public servant. Listen to me. Public servant. That means you serve the public, which means you pull your head out of your ass, you do your job, and you do your job right. If not, turn your gun and your badge in and go find another job. We're sick and tired of you bozos going out there and costing us millions of dollars because you can't do your job right. Get it done, you clowns. Every cop should be absolutely infuriated by what you're going to see here shortly. The lady says, I have PTSD. Gives a name, birth date, under duress, and the cop ends up handcuffing her because she's pissed off. You think so? What do you think I am now? And this is the 5th time I've tried to do this video. Well, this one's going out because I am sick and tired of these scumbag cops doing what they want, when they want, to whoever they want, and thinking they can get away with it. Pull your head out of your ass. Oh. Please go over to Audit the Audit and show them the love they deserve. Please subscribe to them. Check them out. They have a lot of information inside the videos, like you're going to see here. Guys, check this out. And if you're not as enraged as I am, then you're brain dead.
On June 23, 2024, senior citizen Veda Mintz was walking down a residential street in Springfield, Missouri, when she saw an empty house that she was interested in potentially renting. She walked onto the front yard of the home and was walking towards the back in an attempt to look at the size of the backyard, but a neighbor told her to leave. Ms. Mintz complied with the request and continued on her way without looking in the backyard. The neighbor reported the incident to the police, and officers from the Springfield Police Department responded to the call. The encounter that followed was captured on officer body camera.
I think the dude I called even knew what was going on. I just randomly asked him, "Okay, can we go in your house? And do you want to press charges?"
I guess.
Yes and yes.
Hello. Hello, sir.
I believe Susan called.
Yeah, that'll be my mother. Okay, it's that house right there.
Yeah, so is she still here? Can I talk to
Yes,
her?
she is. She's in the bathroom right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I was the one who found out that was unlocked.
Okay. Did you see the female back there, too?
I saw her walking back there, and I yelled at my mom that somebody's going in the backyard, and I ran out and stopped her.
Yeah, okay. When was the last time you guys noticed?
That's actually the female right there.
Okay. You want to talk about
Right over there. The one with the bag.
Hey, police, stop. Yes, you.
Okay, now listen to the arrogance in this cop. You talk about being a scumbag? Listen to his voice, his arrogance. What a complete, total piece of crap.
Can I help you?
Yeah. So, somebody seen you, into the backyard? Yeah.
Well, see, I seen the people move out, and they had a box of stuff. When they moved out, that was in the yard for free. So I seen they moved out, and I said, well, I'm going to check out the backyard, see how big it is, because it's empty. She cussed me up one side down the other.
Did?
That lady.
Who? This lady?
Yes, she did. She said,
Cussed you out?
Yeah. She says, you can't go back there. Don't you ever send anybody back there in that yard. I said, ma'am, I wasn't going in there. I was just trying to look at the backyard, see if it was
Where
big
do you
enough.
live?
I live at Battlefield Towers.
Live at Battlefield Towers?
Yeah.
You walk there after
Yeah.
getting groceries?
Yes. That's the only way I had to get around.
Okay.
I was not doing nothing wrong,
You
sir.
were in the backyard just...
No,
seeing how
I didn't even go to. I didn't even get there. She wouldn't let me go
Hey,
back
why are you
there.
yelling at me? Am I yelling at
because
you?
She's yelling because you're not listening. She said she didn't go in the backyard. That's the third time now she said that. Are you deaf or are you just stupid?
You? No. Okay,
I'm
let's chill out, okay? I'm trying to figure out what's
I
going on,
have
okay?
anxiety. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're
we
fine.
can't deal with that.
Sorry I had to raise my voice. You were raising your voice, okay?
Because of my anxiety, because it's stupid. All I wanted to do was look at the backyard because
So how far did you get into the yard?
I didn't even get to where her dog was because the dog started barking when I got back, so I
don't
came
know where
off.
her dog is. Where...
It's right between the houses with the...
So you went between the houses?
No, I was walking toward the backyard. I didn't get to the back.
You didn't get to the backyard?
No.
Why were you looking in the backyard again? Just to see how big it was?
To see how big
Were you looking at...
Is this cop that stupid? Or he's ignorant? Which one? We now know he's a moron because she said 4 times or 5 times now, and it's like, whoa, were you in the backyard? No. Whoa. What an idiot.
buying the house?
Well, I thought maybe he was going to rent it or something, and I was trying to see the yard
So
to see if it was big enough.
Okay. I'm just trying to get your story here, okay?
That's my story.
I gotta get both sides.
I understand that. Well, thank you for doing that. But I didn't do anything wrong.
So you saw he was moving out, so you were going to check out the backyard, see how big it was, because you were thinking about renting the house, if it was up for rent.
Exactly.
She came out and started yelling and cursing
she yelled
at
me through the kitchen window.
Oh, okay.
I just turned around and left and went ahead and got my groceries. I don't want to live there anyway because I can't live next to that because I'd be doing this all the time.
Yeah, we don't want that. Her anxiety would go crazy, wouldn't it?
At PTSD, she don't know that.
Okay. I'm sorry that you have that, okay? What is your name?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm talking to you, and I'd like to know your name for, what's going on.
I don't want her to know my damn name. I don't want her to know
I'm not giving.
Okay, first off, the lady hasn't done anything wrong. She doesn't have to give her name. And this cop knows that but he has her so upset, he's going to be able to get it anyway.
Even her your name. This is for me.
I don't understand why you always have to give your name. I just didn't do nothing. No, I did.
What's wrong with giving a name? You got something to hide, or
Not hardly.
not hardly? Well, then what is your name?
It's Vita Mines. Spell it yourself. I'm tired. I've just walked in the sun and I'm walking back in the sun. And she wants to complain about it because I wanted to check out the yard so I can possibly maybe rent this house or whatever.
You just go grocery shopping, or
Yes, I did. Walked all the way to Food for Less.
you walked pretty far, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And I'm hot. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. And I just want to go home. And I didn't think.
Well, I need to know your name, okay? You need
Vita Mines.
you
That's
need-
all I'm telling you. That's
No,
my name.
You need to spell it out for me.
No, I don't.
I
You
have
can
to
spell it.
identify you. Vita
Sure.
Mize?
Mines.
Mites?
It's German. MEINTS, and that's all I'm telling you. Take the rest out yourself. I live at Battlefield Towers, and that's all I'm telling you. Because I have.
Well,
not
I
done
need to
nothing.
identify you because I have reasonable suspicion that you were trespassing on that property, okay?
I was not trespassing on that property.
Okay, as of this moment, you are detained, so you have to identify yourself.
That is not true, you lying scumbag piece of crap. Just because you're detained doesn't mean you have to give your ID. Only if you're arrested.
VETA, stupid.
The officer argues that Ms. Mintz is required to identify herself because she is being detained on reasonable suspicion of trespassing. Although Section 84.710 of the Missouri Revised Statutes gives Kansas City police officers the authority to demand that individuals identify themselves based on reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, this statute only applies to Kansas City, while Ms. Mintz was in Springfield, and the state has passed no other so-called stop and identify statute. However, Section 78-36 of the Springfield Code of Ordinances states that, quote, no person shall refuse to disclose one's legal name to a law enforcement officer upon being lawfully stopped, detained, or arrested by a law enforcement officer. As such, a court would likely conclude that Ms. Mintz was legally obligated to identify herself if her detention was, quote-unquote, lawful or supported by at least reasonable suspicion of illegal activity. However, according to Section 569.140 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, quote, a person commits the offense of trespass in the first degree if he or she knowingly enters unlawfully or knowingly remains unlawfully in a building or inhabitable structure or upon real property. A person does not commit the offense of trespass in the first degree by entering or remaining upon real property unless the real property is fenced or otherwise enclosed in a manner designed to exclude intruders, or as to which notice against trespass is given by actual communication to the actor, or posting in a manner reasonably likely to come to the attention of intruders. Now, because Ms. Mintz did not enter a fenced or posted yard and left when she was asked to do so, it is improbable that a court would conclude that the officers had reasonable suspicion to believe that she had committed trespass in the first degree. However, under Section 569.150 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, quote, a person commits trespass in the second degree if he or she enters unlawfully upon real property of another. This is an offense of absolute liability. Well, given the broad language of this statute and lack of criminal intent required, it seems probable that a court would conclude that the officers had at least reasonable suspicion, and likely even probable cause, to believe that Ms. Mintz committed second-degree trespassing by entering the yard without permission, and therefore that Ms. Mintz was required to identify herself, despite the innocuous nature of her entry onto the property.
Well, that's not very nice.
Well, you ain't very nice either, so there you go.
I was starting out nice till you started yelling at me.
No, you yelled at me first. She yelled at me first. You want to get the truth about it. Gets my PTSD in. And then you want to stop me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you did. I'm glad you didn't have nothing else better to do with your time.
I don't want to put you in handcuffs, okay?
Well, whatever. Do whatever it is you got to do.
What's your date of birth?
I was born in October 27, 1959. I'm 5'2". I weigh 90 pounds. I have PTSD. I have anxiety disorder, depression disorder. I did not do anything wrong. I'll be 65 years old.
Don't put your hands behind your back for me.
No.
Stop resisting.
Okay, now you've been told she has whatever it is, and she's also having other problems, and you're just pushing this to be a total and complete douchebag. This cop needs to be tar and feathered and beaten.
Stop.
I'm not doing anything.
Okay, I didn't want to have to do this.
Yes,
all right?
you did, or you
What do
wouldn't
you
have done
mean?
it.
What do you mean he doesn't want to do this? This is what these cops do. Intimidate, intimidate, intimidate. Put you in handcuffs. We control you. You are against us, so you're going to jail.
You're the
love
one who
it.
was
You
freaking
guys
out.
That's all you guys do.
The officers placed Ms. Mintz in handcuffs, claiming that they did so because she was, quote-unquote, freaking out. As we have discussed before here on ATA, the use of handcuffs does not automatically transform a Terry stop detention into an arrest, and officers may generally use handcuffs or other restraints in situations where the detainee is physically resisting, otherwise posing a danger to the safety of himself or others, or likely to flee. If the level of restraint is deemed excessive or unnecessary for the circumstances, a court may determine that the Terry stop has escalated into a so-called de facto arrest. As the Western District Missouri Court of Appeals explained in the 1999 case of State versus Fleiderer, quote, even if no formal arrest is made, a de facto arrest occurs when the officer's conduct is more intrusive than necessary for an investigative stop. In deciding whether this standard is met, we look at whether the police use the least intrusive means of detention reasonably necessary to achieve their investigative purpose. The factors to be considered in determining whether police conduct constitutes a de facto arrest include the duration of the stop, whether the suspect was handcuffed or confined in a police car, whether the suspect was transported or isolated, and the degree of fear and humiliation that the police conduct engenders. This shift to a de facto arrest means that the officer must have probable cause to believe that the person committed a crime, rather than the lower threshold of reasonable suspicion. In this situation, the use of handcuffs does not appear to be justified by safety concerns, as the officers placed Ms. Mintz in handcuffs in response to her verbal dissent, rather than an act of physical resistance or an attempt to flee. However, even if a court concluded that the use of handcuffs in this situation escalated the detention to a de facto arrest, as we discussed earlier in this episode, it is likely that a court would conclude that the officers had probable cause to suspect Ms. Mintz of second-degree trespassing. Section 544.216 of the Missouri Revised Statutes states that, quote, any county or municipal law enforcement officer in this state may arrest on view and without a warrant any person who such officer has reasonable grounds to believe has violated any ordinance or law of this state, including a misdemeanor or infraction, over which such officer has jurisdiction. Accordingly, it is probable that a court would determine that the officers would have been within their authority, under both the Fourth Amendment and state law, to arrest Ms. Mintz, which a court would almost certainly conclude justified the use of handcuffs.
Sure.
You don't do nothing else to old people? No.
Let go of your phone.
Let go of the phone. I'm done being nice with you.
Yeah, why don't you just, here, check my purse.
What's your deal?
Take whatever you want.
What's your deal, man?
I have PTSD. She does set it off.
Okay.
You guys are not listening, but that don't matter
And
to
you were on a property that you're not allowed to be on.
Okay, I seen that it was still empty. I said, well, I'm just going to walk back and look at the backyard, see if it's big enough for my dog.
So you just admitted you trespassing on property.
Didn't
You have
even
no
get
permission to be there.
Is this cop that frickin' stupid? Or is he just a complete and total moron? Nobody's living there. She's looking at it to rent it. Are you a moron or what?
I walked
And you're
between.
walking on the property to look in the backyard.
I didn't get to get to the backyard. I got to where the end of that there.
Okay, what's your date of birth again?
October 27th, 1959. Would you like me to bow down to you too?
Why would I want that?
Hey,
Because you're a low-life scumbag.
That's
You
weird.
act like
Why
you're-
are you being weird?
oh, hey, aren't we all?
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
So where were you headed to with all your stuff? Because you obviously just got...
Sir, I walked from Battlefield Towers to Food for Less. I walked all the way down Woodland Street. I didn't make no stop. I
Who
left
do you
it.
know that lives over here then?
I live at Battlefield Towers.
Okay, so why...
I walked down
If you
Woodland.
This cop is an absolute moron. Couldn't you be any dumber? Did he get his job because he had an IQ of 3? It can't be over 10.
Live
to
at
go-
Battlefield Towers. Why are you trying to look in a backyard? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
She's looking in the backyard, you dumbass, because she wants to rent the properties because she has dogs. Are you not listening or are you just stupid?
Because I have another dog. And I was trying to see how big the yard was because I knew the house was empty. That's why. And I didn't even get to where that big tree is right there by the house because her dog started barking. And after that, I backed off and started walking off after she cussed me out.
Vita Mints, October 27th.
Vita Mints.
Mints,
Yes.
whatever.
I'll see if I can.
Yeah, because I told him that, but he don't remember.
So here's the thing. This house is still owned, okay? And there's people that watch that house, okay? I've already contacted the owner, and he wants to pursue charges against anybody that's on his property.
Okay.
So you are not to be on this property.
I
And if I
understand.
catch you here, I'm going to take you to jail for trespassing.
Okay, well,
Do
you won't
understand
ever.
that?
Yes, sir, I do,
Okay.
and I won't
We're
ever
gonna
do
take-
that
We're
again.
going to take those off you,
and
you can continue walking out to where you live, okay?
Thank you.
And the great thing is that now she's going to get an attorney and sue these morons. And you people in Springfield, Missouri, get to pay for these clowns being morons.
You understand why we're here, though?
Yeah, because there's no such thing as freedom.
So here's the thing. I get charged with enforcing the law. That's part of my job. Talking to people on the street who are, I've been told, are in conjunction with a crime I'm investigating. That's part of my job. You mentioned freedom. Part of people's freedom is property rights. Okay?
They should have
And
done
that's
that
what
for
you
my
violated.
son.
That's what you violated when you went onto their property. So
Yeah.
I'm here to enforce people's property rights.
And it takes.
But I know that you don't agree with what we do.
No, I do.
But you're good
a
to move
point.
along.
Okay, thank you.
You are free to go.
Thank you.
After allowing Ms. Mites to leave, the officers speak with the neighbors who called them.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable because like both houses on either side of me are vacant.
At least you know who owns this one. But
Yeah.
this chick
Yeah, they're both vacant because you're a cow and don't know how to keep your nose in where it belongs because you're a fat pig.
is going to be tied to this. I'll put her in as a person of interest. Her story doesn't even make sense. She claims she knew it was vacant.
It doesn't make sense. Are you a retard? What is wrong with this cop? What a moron.
I was going to the back to see if it was big enough for her dog. Like, that story doesn't make any sense.
She would have had no way to know it was vacant unless she
Was inside.
She says she's seen people moving from
yeah, she
here.
claims she saw people
So
move
she was
out,
thinking
but
about renting it.
no, but she hasn't seen anybody move out because
It's not even up for
things
rent.
weren't
Yeah, I
moved.
know.
With it being a few months, we've had those heavy rainstorms too. I'll do my best to see if I can get any fingerprints off that window that's on the ground.
Well, maybe the sill going in. They'd
Yeah,
have
it was
had to.
still going in, but with the heavy rain we've had, that kind of washes the oils away from our fingers. But we'll do our best. But
Well, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
And I'll give Gary a call and
yeah, we'll give him a call too. Just let
Cry.
him know what's going on. Would you mind to fingerprint that back window?
The one, is it on the
The one that's
ground?
on the ground in the back, yeah.
In the backyard?
And then maybe like just inside that windowsill.
You got a fingerprint kit?
I do. Her story just doesn't make sense. She lives at Battlefield Towers, just down the freaking street.
She
Why the hell is
walks
she
to,
here?
She walks to Food for Less. So she said that she was walking here. She didn't have any bags. She just had her little pink purse or whatever.
So she did go to Food for Less.
Yeah, she went to Food for Less, and then on her way back, she somehow, by the grace of God, she stopped right in front of us. So
Yeah.
bad luck on her part. But
It's very bad luck on her part.
I was like, "Why are you going back there?" And she's like, "Well, I was seeing how big the backyard was because I seen people moving out, and if it was up for rent, I was gonna rent it." I'm like, "Okay."
No, you weren't. You already rent a place. Why would you come rent this place?
Are you a retard? God, this cop is a moron. Why would you want to live in a tower when you could live in a house? What a jerk, man. Tarred and feather, definitely tarred and feather then in prison.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try to pull some prints. We'll see.
One of the officers dusted for prints, but he was unable to find any usable evidence. It is unclear whether Ms. Mites filed a formal complaint against the officers, but her son, who owns a New Citizens YouTube channel, obtained the body camera footage and shared it on his channel. He also created a Give, Send, Go campaign for Ms. Mites, who was forced to leave her home and has been living with her son ever since September 27th, 2024. The campaign was created to cover various living expenses for Ms. Mites and, now quoting from the campaign, legal fees to hold the responsible officers officers accountable, indicating that Ms. Mites may be pursuing a lawsuit against the Springfield officers in the future. Overall, the Springfield officers get a C- for maintaining a disrespectful and unprofessional demeanor throughout the encounter, unnecessarily handcuffing an elderly woman who was accused of simply walking onto a residential lawn, and failing to understand and believe Ms. Mites' perfectly reasonable explanation for why she entered the property. This was a challenging grade to issue, as the officers likely did remain within their legal authority throughout the encounter, and appropriately exercised their discretion not to arrest Ms. Mites for a second-degree trespassing offense. However, I would be remiss if I did not mention the unnecessary use of handcuffs, which appeared to be in retaliation for Ms. Mites' constitutionally protected speech, and the cavalier nature in which the officers discussed quote-unquote slamming a 90-some-pound elderly woman with PTSD.
Like, stop resisting.
I was talking with them, and I was
slam
watching you. And then because I heard you raise your voice at her, and so that's when I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on that. And then I see her, like, starting to pull away from you and stuff, and I was like, oh, no. We got to dump this 59-year-old
She wouldn't have gotten far.
Officers should only resort to the use of physical force when absolutely necessary, and it is essential that they take the potential injury to the suspect into question when deciding on the appropriateness of a use of force. Here, the officer unabashedly and gleefully stated that he would have quote-unquote slammed Ms. Mites if she passively resisted him, which, assuming he meant that he would slam her to the ground, could cause significant injury to a senior citizen, despite the...
Okay, and this overweight cop who should be tarred and feathered is going to slam a little 90-pound woman on the ground is absolutely disgusting. Tarred and feathered, man, I'm telling you, both these cops ought to be tarred and feathered and jailed. That's what's good for them.
The fact that she would clearly not pose a significant threat. This statement is unsettling, to say the least, and it gives me great concern about this officer's ability to appropriately and constitutionally apply physical force when it is necessary to perform his duties. Ms. Mites gets an A-, because although she did potentially violate the trespass law by entering the yard, her actions would be considered socially acceptable by most citizens, and was far from the type of conduct that is typically considered to be criminal. Ms. Mites also did an excellent job in voicing her objections to the detention itself, which, although it was likely lawful, seemed like an unreasonable use of the officer's time, given the extremely insignificant nature of the allegations against her, and the use of handcuffs, which appeared to be punitive and entirely unnecessary. I would also like to commend Ms. Mites for sharing her mental health conditions with the officers, as these details are important in informing officer decision-making, and although these officers failed to act reasonably with this information, cruelly deciding to place her in handcuffs and further traumatize her instead, had Ms. Mites been dealing with more compassionate officers, this information could have assisted them in making better decisions about how to interact with her during the investigation. Let's move on to the next.
All right, guys, so you tell me, am I out of line here? Or these two scumbag cops should be tarred and feathered and then imprisoned? There is no reason why you can't use your brain, except these morons don't seem to have one. Well, I don't understand why she was walking down here in the first place. Because it's the most simple point between 2 points. She already told the story 4 times, and you still don't have it? Where's your mental capacity? Oh, that's right. I forgot. You have qualified immunity. You don't have to worry about it. Well, asswipe, I got news for you. When you get sued, the taxpayers have to pick up the bill because you're too much of a little wussy to take care of it yourself. Coward. Yeah, coward. Coward, scumbag cops. Guys, let me know what you think. Go over to the audit. Tell them I sent you. And subscribe to my channel, too, if you would, please. Guys, have a great day. And remember, don't trust cops.